Welcome back to Playground Sessions YouTube channel. I'm Phil. I'm going to be teaching you guys a jazz song today. We're going to be looking at an excerpt from A Night in Tunisia. This is from our intermediate level arrangement in our interactive app, and it sounds like this. Yeah. All right, 100%. So I'm going to break this down for you in detail, and if you're following along at home in your own interactive app, then you'll have the tools you need to get your own 100% at the end of this video. If you're not following along in an interactive app, I gotta say, we're doing a free trial right now. You should tap this card above. It says free trial. Open that in a new tab, because we've got some work to do here in this video, but when we're done, you can take advantage of this free trial, finish this song in the app, learn a ton more in the app. So take advantage of that free trial. But let's dig into it. I'm going to start with the right hand melody first. Our key signature tells us that there is one flat. That's automatically flat. That's a B. So all Bs are flat according to this key signature. Now that could either mean that we're in the key of F major or F major's relative minor, which is D minor. Both of those keys share the same one flat key signature. And you're going to see, especially when we add this left hand in, that we are firmly in the key of D minor actually. Okay, so like all key signatures, there could either be a major or a relative minor key. You have to do a little bit of analysis to figure out which one it is. And often it's easy when you dig into it, especially in the harmony. So again, we'll see when we add the left hand, but here we're in the key of D minor. Our time signature is 4/4, 4 beats per measure, okay? So let's talk about the melody here, and specifically the hand position changes that are required to play this, okay? We start with our very first note, B flat, right below middle C. So we're kind of low for our right hand with our 2 finger. Then we play D flat with our 3rd finger, and then our thumb's going to come under and go all the way up to F. Now, as we play that F, our hand is going to shift over so we can reach some high notes. And our pinky plays C, okay? One more time, that goes B flat, D flat, thumb under to F, pinky on C. I encourage you to try that a few times until you can do it a little faster and a little easier. Okay, now moving on. We're going to tie this C over to a quarter note. Then we play B flat, thumb on F, 2 on G sharp, and 3 on A. So we finish out this first phrase basically in this position. So there's 2 positions really that add up into one big position here. The first one's down here. Then we shift up. See how that works? So again, from the top, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. Check that out. The pickup note to the next phrase starts us down in our first position again. And this is a pickup note to essentially the exact same phrase we just did in measure 1, or measure 11 if you're following along here in the app. So we go 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. See that? Same thing here. B flat, F, and then this time just right to A. We're not going to do that G sharp A like we did in the second measure here of this section. Okay? So let's try from the top these 2 phrases here together. Ready? 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. Great job. Now, at the end of this line, we see another pickup note to the next line down. Same thing. It's an A, and then we pick up down the next line down to the same phrase again. This is just like the first one, where we do G sharp to A. And then our fourth and final phrase is a bit different for a handful of reasons. One is different notes. A, B flat, A, G, E flat, 2 over to C sharp, and then thumb on D. So the notes are different, and of course that means the fingering and the hand positions are different. But the second thing that's different about this is the rhythmic feel, okay? So when we play this song, typically we like to play even or straight eighth notes throughout the first few phrases. And then in these final two bars, we like to swing the eighth notes. So in the beginning, we're going to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and very even eighths. But when we get to this final phrase, we're going to play swing eighth notes. A 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. Now, if you're not quite advanced enough to play the difference between straight and swing eighths, the app's not going to count you wrong if you play all of this stuff straight eighths. So don't worry about that. I'm not trying to add an extra level of difficulty here to our intermediate level arrangement, but I just want to give you guys a sense of how this song is typically played, including by professional jazz performers, okay? When we get to this section in the phrase or in this melody, we're going to switch from straight eighths feel to a swing eighths feel. And again, that goes a 1, 2, 3, whoops, a 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, okay? Okay, so there's swing eighths, and if you guys want a little bit of an extra deeper dive into the differences between those rhythmic feels, dig around in the app. We have some course lessons on rhythms, we have some boot camp lessons on rhythms. Harry Connick Jr. talks about rhythms for a bit here in some of his video lessons, so dig around in there for some more on that. It's a great topic to cover when we're learning about jazz. All right, why don't we cue up our backing track at the medium tempo so we can work on these rhythms and do it to not a metronome, but something that's, I think, more fun. An even timing like a metronome, but something that sounds like a full band instead of just a click. So let's cue up our backing track and play along with our band here at the slow tempo. Once we get 100% there, we'll go to full speed. 1 and 2 and set, go. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. Swing. Sweet, there's 100%. So now let's speed it up to full tempo. You guys ready? 1, 2, set, go. All right, there's 100%. So we got the right hand down. Let's jump right into the left hand harmony, shall we? We're mostly playing whole notes here in the left hand, at least at this level of arrangement. And there's only just a handful of chords, so let's just jump right in. If you look at the chord symbol for the first chord, it might seem a little intimidating. E flat 7 over D flat. But if you look at the voicing, the way we've arranged that chord, and the notes we've chosen to use in that chord, it's actually quite simple. We're going to play a D flat on the bottom, and a G on top. Now on its own, out of context, that sounds pretty harsh, doesn't it? That's a tritone interval. In other words, it's the distance between a perfect fifth and a perfect fourth is a tritone. And that typically is a tense sound or a dissonant sound, often used for dominant sevenths chords, okay? So in a dominant 7 chord, briefly, we have an E flat major chord. E flat dominant 7 chord is going to have a D flat on top. The distance between the third of the chord and that flat 7 is a tritone, and that's what defines a dominant 7 chord. So here we've just rearranged those notes. The D flat is on the bottom. And that's all we're choosing to play. We're not playing an E flat. We're not playing the root. We're not playing a B flat, the fifth. We're just playing the third and the flat 7, which is a very common voicing in jazz music at the piano, okay? So get comfortable with that. Even though it sounds rough on its own, when we add the melody, when we add the chord progression and surround it with other chords, and when we add the backing track in as well, we get the complete picture, and we get something that sounds really good. So our first chord, E flat 7 over D flat, we're just playing D flat and G. And then we go to a D minor chord, also just a 2-note chord. We're going to collapse these notes inward, play D and F. That is our voicing for D minor, okay? Now, guess what? Next 2 measures, same thing. Here's that tritone, E flat 7 over D flat, and then back to D minor. Next line down, same thing for the next 2 measures, E flat 7, tritone, and D minor. Now our fourth and final phrase here for this section does change, okay? So we go to an E diminished, and that looks like this, E, G, and not B, but B flat, right? Don't forget our key signature. That's a B flat up there. So E diminished. Then we go to this A7 over C sharp. Looks like a funky chord, right? It kind of is. So we're going to drop our pinky down to a C sharp, and we're going to play a G and an A cluster on top. So here's the third of an A7 chord. Here's the flat 7, and here's the root, an A. Again, we almost have an identical voicing here, tritone, 3rd and 7, that we played for the E flat 7 chord earlier. This is almost the same voicing for the A7 chord. Now this brings me to a new point of discussion where we can talk about tritone substitutions for chords, but I'm going to get into that in a separate dedicated video. When I post that one, I'll let you guys know, but we're going to talk about 2-5-1 progressions and tritone substitutions in a jazz theory video coming up very soon. For now though, just know that this is the voicing we're going to use for both the E flat 7 chord and for that A7 chord. But we're going to add the A on top for this final A7 chord, okay? And our very final chord for this section is a D minor triad again, this time with all 3 notes of the triad, the A on top as well. Unlike before when we just had the root and the 3rd. So briefly, let's go over this one more time from the top. We got E flat 7 over D flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4. Again, 2, 3, 4, 2, next line down, same thing, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, here we go. E flat diminished for 2 counts, A7 over C sharp for 2 counts, then D minor triad back to whole note. Okay, so the final 2 measures one more time goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I think it's time to try to play this with our backing track. So let's cue it up. We'll start at the slow speed before trying to speed it up to full tempo. Here we go. 1, 2, set, go. Okay, nice work. There we have it. So now let's speed it up to full tempo. 1, 2, set, go. Okay, so we have each hand individually now at 100%. We are now ready to try to put them together. But this is a significant step, okay? Don't be in a hurry to just blast through to the end. We gotta spend a good amount of time here and repetition doing this correctly and slowly, okay? I'm gonna jump right into the slow tempo in time, playing along with the backing track right now. But you may not be ready for that yet, and that's perfectly okay. I would encourage you to pause the video, try putting the hands together one note at a time. Don't worry about timing just yet. When you feel like you can get through the whole section like that with some both hands coordination, then it's time to turn on the backing track at the slow speed, which is what we're about to do now. Then, of course, after that, we'll go to full tempo, and you've got this section down. And I'll remind you one more time that we're doing a free trial of our interactive app right now. If you tap this card above that says, "What are you waiting for?" Open that in a new tab because there's a lot more to learn in the app. 30-day free trial, no strings attached, no payment up front. You can cancel anytime, okay? So check that out. In the meantime, let's wrap up this video together, guys. Dizzy Gillespie's Night in Tunisia. Let's hit it. Hands together, we'll start slow, then we'll speed up. 1, 2, set, go. All right, great work. There we have it at the slow speed. Final step, let's speed her up. Here we go. Yeah. Yes, we did it. 100% across the board. Man, that feels good. There's another jazz song to add to your repertoire. Hope to see you guys still active the rest of this month for the Jazz Challenge, and I hope to see some of you apply some of these skills from this video to your own performance videos for the challenge. I'm Phil. I'll see you guys soon for the next video lesson, I hope. The features you saw on screen today can be at your fingertips with the Playground Sessions app. Co-created by music legend Quincy Jones, Playground teaches the piano with interactive feedback and gaming features, all while using your favorite songs. Alright guys, I'm Phil. Hit subscribe so I can see you for the next video.